In this video, I'm going to start with a list of URLs and instantly create QR codes for all of them. I know there are a lot of videos, but they use separate external API. Here, all this is going to happen right within Excel using Python. So let's see how this is done. Do you know if you use Edge browser to go to any website or web page, you can simply right-click and generate a QR code. That's great, but in this case, I have a list of URLs. I don't want to navigate to each one of them. That's why we need an approach within Excel to generate QR codes. For this to work, you need Microsoft 365 version of Excel. How do you know that? Go to File, Account, and you should see Microsoft 365 Apps for Enterprise. If you see Excel 2016, 2019, that means you don't have the correct version of Excel for this purpose. You should also have the latest edition, so update your Office. In formulas, you should say Insert Python. That means you have the correct version. This does not work on Mac, does not work on browser version, only Windows desktop version, and that too Office 365 version. Now, how do you get started? Recently, Microsoft created a QR code template. So go to File, New, search for Python, press Enter, and you will see QR code generator. Click on it, create it. Now, how does this work? I put a URL here. I'm going to put my website. Now, when I press Enter, nothing seems to happen, but have patience. After a few seconds, it'll refresh. URL is changeable. Then we have a drop down, which is just a data validation, comma delimited list, and a simple input message, which is shown as the tooltip. So we have different styles in QR code, by the way, and more stylized ones are popular. So if I choose circle, look at the refreshed QR code. I can also have solid color or gradient, which makes it even more stylish. I'm going to say vertical gradient. Background color continues to be white. One of the fill colors I want purple, and the other fill color I want blue. So this is how you can create QR codes. There's one URL, one QR code. In order to have a list of URLs and create multiple QR codes, first we need to understand how we generate one, and then we will extrapolate that knowledge. So let's go behind the scenes and understand how this is working. Where is the QR code? Here. This is the output. These are the inputs. If you click on the output and look at the formula bar, you'll see this is coming from A2. Now there are no grid lines, no headings. So let's enable view grid lines, view headings. This row 2 is hidden. Let's unhide it. Now you will see the Python code py. That is where it is getting generated. And what is this image? It's a reference to that. Now I need to look at what is happening in that cell A2. That is code, Python code. So I click on this. I'll see the image. I don't want that. I want the code. So look at the formula bar Python. If you open it, you can see the code, but this is black and white, no color coding. I don't want it this way. So just close it. In Excel, edit means F2. So let's try F2 here. Nice. Now I am able to see the code. I'm just going to press F2 again, then the color coding comes properly. This is good, but it's still difficult to navigate because this scroll bar is for the Excel file. There's no separate scroll bar here. It's a little inconvenient. So the best way to edit Python code is go to Formulas, Editor. It opens a separate pane or a window here. And now it shows nice color coding and proper editor with line numbers. I want this to occupy much more space. I don't want to use this because that's still in that pane. So here is the deal. Anytime there is a pane like this and you see arrow, four-headed arrow, cursor, just drag it. It becomes a floating window. This is an amazing piece of knowledge by itself because now you can resize the window the way you want. Imagine doing this for pivot tables, chart properties, PowerPoint objects, and so on. It works everywhere. Control and mouse wheel will zoom in, zoom out as well. There is a save button. The shortcut is Control Enter. And then there is one more important thing here. What is it doing? It's running this code, and what came out of it? The image file, which is also showing here. And then this is the image, but it's just showing the word image. Why? Because it's showing Python output. I don't want Python output. I know Excel can understand images inside cells. So I say Excel value. But nothing happened because I have not saved. Control Enter. Now it will recalculate. A small little image is shown there. This is inside the cell. So if I increase the cell dimensions, then it will resize to fit it. This image I'm going to delete. This is where the actual image is getting generated. For now, I'm going to close the editor. Now this image I want to show as floating, like we were having it earlier. If I right click picture in cell, you'll see place over cells is inactive. Now why is that? Because I have not just inserted an image here. I have put code, and that code is generating image. So in such cases, you can't place it over the cells. But I want to. Then what do? Create a reference. So it's basically like a paste link referring to this. Now this one, I can float like this, or I can say, no, I want it inside this cell. Now right click on it and say place inside. It will go here. I right click. Now I have a choice over or inside. Anyway, let's delete this and focus on what is happening in that code. I'm going to hide this, and now let's see what's happening here. So formulas, editor. In fact, I'm going to add it in quick access toolbar so I can go from here anytime. Also, if you are going to work on Python in a particular workbook, when you open this pane in these three dots, you can say show this editor automatically whenever I open this workbook, which is a little more convenient. So now let's understand this code. It's taking the URL from E6, then module drawer, the circle, square, whatever from here. The color choices from here, back color, fill color. Fill color 2 is optional because by default it's empty. So if it's empty, make it white, otherwise pick it up. All these colors names are in English, they need to be converted to RGB. That's what is happening. And the last is the call to the actual function, which is generate QR, where all the parameters we are passing, finally saying generate it and show it. And the image which gets generated, it is also being shown here, and that's what we see here. So far so good, but where is the generate QR function? Well, that's in another sheet. Right click, unhide, imports and functions. Now here we have a lot of Python code. Let's look at it one by one. Importing the main QR code module, which is the brain behind this whole thing. Then it needs the style. It needs different types of parameters like square, circle, rounded, and it needs the gradient information. Now let's go to the second cell. Now here I'm showing all Python cells so I can scroll, but I find it more convenient to see only selected cells so you don't get confused. So whenever I click on a cell, it's going to show me that. Second one is color dictionary. Dictionary is like lookup. So in our user interface, the drop down, we had colors in English. Now they are converted to RGB equivalent. That's all. Similarly, styles. We have given styles in simple English. These are the actual technical parameters. Color gradients, similar thing, the technical parameter. Then we have the RGB function, right? So whatever is the color name converted to RGB. Then color mask. This looks complicated because there are different types of mask, and we have background color, foreground color 1, foreground color 2. So it's basically showing how to use those. So if it's solid fill, back color is back color, front color is fill color. Okay. If it is radial, radial means center there is one color, edge there is another color. That's what edge color and center color. Okay. Same way for square also there is center and edge. For horizontal, there is a right color, left color. For vertical, there is a top color and bottom. And finally, this is where the actual magic happens. This is the function generate QR code, which we called from our A2 cell. Now it's generating the object, your QR code, and then some parameters are being set like size and border. Then we are adding data. Data means essentially the URL. We are making it fit in available space. And then we have to specify the color mask, which is itself a separate function, how to create it from choice, fill color to all that. And finally, because that QR object has all the necessary information, we are saying now create the image. Finally, convert that image to RGBA and return it. That's how this whole thing happened. And as a result, we got this image, and now you know what to do. The next step is to extrapolate this knowledge. So now I want to take this list and generate multiple QR codes. And of course, this is a table. So let's see how this is done. In order for this to work, we'll have to modify this a little. You see E6, E7, E8, all these are variable references. So if I copy paste something, they are also going to move, and that's not a good idea. So I'm going to give names to these parameters. Variable for style. This variable for gradient. This is the variable for background color. This is variable for fill color 1, F1, var F1. And this is var F2. So now I have these parameters defined. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to go to the original code, press F2, select all, Ctrl A and copy, press escape, come back to our table here and press F2. But now if I just paste it, it's not going to become Python. I need to say I'm adding Python. So go to formulas, insert Python, and then paste it. Now the code, Ctrl Enter. Okay, something happened. We'll see what happened. But it's also telling me, because it's a table, do you want to auto copy this formula in the rest of the cells? Of course I want to, but nothing is coming. Why is it not coming? Because our code is not going to work. Now if you look at the code, what is it doing? It's looking at E6, where there's nothing, E7, E8, there is nothing everywhere. So obviously it's not going to work. Now here I want to say what? The first column, URL. So here I'm going to type, or I can even click inside this cell and it'll pick it up. And here I have defined the name, so I'm going to add those names manually. And now let's save this and close it. Now it goes back to work, but it's still not showing me images. We already know that. I want to see it as Excel value. I could have done that in the editor itself. It's an afterthought, so I did it from the formula bar. And there you have it. You have multiple QR codes generated. Now I'm going to paste a long QR code. In fact, I've gone to Python in Excel. I'm simply going to copy this and paste it here. And as soon as I do that, this will get generated. The next logical step to think of is, this is Excel, data is going to grow. I got more links later. No problem. Copy those links. Go to the bottom of this table and paste them. You know what is going to happen. The formula will automatically update and all the QR codes will be generated again. So here is the summary. These are the steps we followed to start with a template, understand how it works, and then make a list of URLs of our own, and then use modified code to generate any number of QR codes right within Excel using Python. I don't just create videos, I work with customers closely and increase their efficiency across the organization. So if you are interested, do send me a mail. The ID is in the description. If you want to continue to learn like this, do subscribe, click on the bell icon, you know the story. But most importantly, share it with as many people as you can so that more people benefit from this. That's it for now. See you next time. Thank you.